Welcome to the 2022 celebration of Kate Stoneman Day. I'm Professor Mary Lynch, and I'm here in Albany Law's East Foyer, next to a recently updated tribute to Kate Stoneman, class of 1898. Denied admission to the New York State Bar based on her sex, Kate Stoneman spearheaded a campaign to pass the statute that going forward refused to allow courts to use as a pretext gender or race for admission to the New York State Bar. She then became the first female member of that bar. Arrayed around this tribute are past honorees, lecturers, Stoneman legal luminaries, such as Constance Baker Motley, 1997 keynoter and first African-American woman to serve on a federal bench. Arlinda Locklear, 2008, the first Native American oralist before the Supreme Court who argued on behalf of indigenous rights. Current students suggested that we ask past honorees and Stoneman supporters, what does Kate Stoneman mean to you? Here's what they said.
Hi, my name is Diane Phillips. I am a member of the class of 1988. I am thrilled to be recording this message about what Kate Stoneman means to me. There was no Kate Stoneman Day or celebration when I was a student. That began shortly after I graduated, and I am thrilled to say that I had a hand in its creation and its celebration. I was the co-chair of the Kate Stoneman Endowed Chair and a grateful recipient in 2004 of the Kate Stoneman Day Award. Enjoy today's celebration. It's a wonderful program. I am honored to be among the women being recognized today. Thank you.
Kate Stoneman is a major reason why I joined the faculty at Albany Law School. When I was interviewing at law schools 11 years ago, 12 years ago, I remember walking out of the boardroom and giving a presentation to the entire Albany Law faculty as part of my candidacy for a faculty position at what was then called the Law Clinic and Justice Center, which is now the Justice Center at Albany Law School. And when I walked out of that stressful environment, stressful for me, they couldn't have been lovelier, but it was a pretty big interview. I saw a woman's face on a postcard in a stand holding some flyers, and I picked it up, and it was a postcard about Kate Stoneman. I kept that postcard pinned next to my computer at work where I was a clinical teaching fellow at Baltimore Law School until I heard from Albany Law that they were going to extend an offer for me to join the faculty. She was my good luck charm. She was my inspiration. She got me through the rest of the day, which was a lot of fun, but also, again, pretty grueling and stressful. And I kept that postcard with me for the whole time. And then when I joined the faculty, I kept that postcard and I put it again right next to my computer so that every day I would remind myself why I came to Albany Law School, which in part was to honor the legacy of Kate Stoneman. And then the first Kate Stoneman Day I attended was in 2012, so the year that I arrived in 2011, and it was Judge Gary who was being honored, now Presiding Justice Gary. And I was so moved by her words that I struck up a pen pal relationship with Justice Gary and sent her a note to which she responded, and I've kept her response ever since, and she has filled that role as well, right beside Kate Stoneman, inspiring me every day to keep them both in mind as I do this work moving forward. So that's what this day, what the celebration and what Kate Stoneman has meant to me. And I'm so excited for this year's celebration.
What does Kate Stoneman mean to me? I am the first person in my family to become a lawyer, and coming to Albany Law School, I didn't know about Kate Stoneman until the first event that I attended in her honor. At that time, I found out all the information I needed to know. Not only did she go to Albany Law School and become the first female lawyer in New York State, she also went to my alma mater. At the time was the New York State Normal Teachers College, later on to be known as University of Albany. And after all that she had been through, she stayed in Albany and became an important part of the community, including working towards women's suffrage. To me, she's a hero and somebody who should be honored, because honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the work that she did.
Hello there. It has been my honor and my privilege to be able to spread the message of Kate Stoneman as widely as possible. Whether it's been through attending the treasured Kate Stoneman Day, planning the event, or even co-writing a law review article with Professor Mary Lynch on Kate Stoneman's legacy, it's been my aim to disseminate her strength, her courage, her inspiration as widely as possible to as many future lawyers as possible. She really is a true hero, and we are so fortunate to be able to call her one of our own at Albany Law School. Also, on a personal level, I feel so fortunate to be connected with Kate Stoneman in any way. It was 20 years ago, yes, 20, in 2002, that I was interviewing at Albany Law School for a faculty position. Fortuitously, it was on Kate Stoneman Day. Now that I think about it, it might have been intentional. That said, it was so evident to me by the end of that day that I had found my home at Albany Law School. And I knew back then in 2002 at Kate Stoneman Day that I was going to accept the offer to teach here at Albany Law School. And even after 20 years of teaching here and attending Kate Stoneman Days every year, I still get goosebumps. So if you have not been to this event before, you are in for a real treat. And I hope you enjoy and get inspired by everything that's in here.
When I think of Kate Stoneman, I think back to when I was a 1L learning about who she was and what she accomplished. At that time, I was the first and only person in my family to have gone to college, and I am the only person to have pursued a graduate level education in my family. So I immediately admired Kate Stoneman and started to realize the things that I could accomplish as a woman, as a law student, and later as an attorney. Seeing the amazing women who are honored through our Kate Stoneman Day and the awards given, it is just another reminder of all the great things that you can accomplish through perseverance as women, as attorneys, as law students. So the spirit of Kate Stoneman to me means the inspiration to achieve the impossible and the perseverance that is needed to accomplish that.
Hello, I'm Pat Rahan, and I'm so honored to have been asked to contribute to this testimonial to Kate Stoneman, but more importantly to state Kate Stoneman Day and to what it means to all of us. I can't help but think of a very famous line from 2017 when I think of Kate Stoneman, and that was a statement one senator made to another. Nevertheless, she persisted. The statement was made as a rebuke. The statement was made as a negative. And yet for all of us who've been privileged to be associated with Kate Stoneman, we know that if there were 3 words that would have absolutely applied to that magnificent woman, they would have been, nevertheless, she persisted.
Many of us, especially those of a certain age, have been referred to as pioneers. But Kate Stoneman was the true pioneer, the sine qua non, the one without whom none of us would be where we are today. In her time, there was open hostility towards women who dared to seek professional careers. A woman's place was in the home. It was that simple. What immense courage, what dogged determination, What extraordinary skill it must have taken for Kate to not only be the first woman to graduate from Albany Law School and the first in New York to pass the bar, but also then to actually change the law that kept women from entering the legal profession. I worked in the state legislature as a young law student in the mid-1970s, and even then it was difficult for women to be taken seriously. When I started, there were virtually no women legislators and no women counsels. Imagine what it must have been like for Kate in the late 1800s to successfully lobby for that legislation. She was amazing. She is my hero. And how sweet it was to receive the Kate Stoneman Award on the 100th anniversary of her graduation from Albany Law School. A memory I will treasure always.
Hi, so what Kate Stoneman means to me. I'm so happy to be asked this question. As a member of the New York Bar, it's fair to say that I owe my career to Kate Stoneman's dogged pursuit of equality for women. What is most impressive to me is that even when Kate Stoneman met substantial impediments, she seemed to find a way around them. For example, at a time when women were denied even the right to vote, Stoneman pursued her interest in the law. And even when her application to join the bar was initially denied, she found a way around that and was able to join anyway. I very much appreciate that she often overcame these hurdles by working with others who shared her drive toward equal opportunities for women. And perhaps her work on behalf of women's suffrage is a good example of that. I think that legacy of collective action is an important one to remember, even as we honor Kate Stoneman for her own singular achievements. Thanks.
Jennifer Rabb, and I have the great privilege of being the president of Hunter College, where the American dream still comes true. I am humbled and proud to be among those who have received the Stoneman Award. It is one of the most remarkable clubs in the legal profession. More than that, I am deeply grateful to be one of the countless women who could pursue their careers because of Kate Stoneman. She pushed open doors in the late 19th century, not only in the law, but in society at large, that women in the 20th century were able to pass through, myself among them. Most of all, I am proud of the connections between Kate Stoneman and Thomas Hunter, the visionary educator for whom Hunter College is named. He was an Irish patriot who was forced to emigrate because of his strong nationalist views, which made him unemployable at home. Fortunately for us, he came to New York and dedicated himself to creating new opportunities for women. When Kate Stoneman was studying law and fighting for women's rights in the 1860s and 70s, Thomas Hunter was establishing only the 9th college in the United States to accept women, a school that was both free and open to women of all races and religions. The motto he chose for the new public college was Mihi Cura Futuri, the care of the future is mine. Exactly the same caring spirit that guided Kate Stoneman throughout her life. And now, in that same spirit, I join in saying, thank you, Kate Stoneman. We are where we are today because of the trail you blazed. We are very grateful to Kate Stoneman.
On March 30th, 2006, I was the keynote honoree during Albany Law School's Kate Stoneman ceremonies and was presented with this exquisite bowl. My talk was subsequently published in Professor Patricia Salkin's book entitled Pioneering Women Lawyers, From Kate Stoneman to the Present, published by the ABA. From my earliest days as a law professor, I have been a critical race theorist and educator. My Stoneman talk described how I use CRT in the classroom and as a community activist. I began by invoking a foundational proposition in CRT, that law is a force for both justice and injustice. CRT teaches us how to use our lived experiences, our racial marginalization, to make contributions to the work of producing knowledge and solving complex problems. 16 years after I received this award and after my scholarship, teaching, and activism were honored, this type of scholarly work is under attack by well-organized and well-funded politicians and the media. CRT scholars are the bullseye of these attacks, but the danger goes beyond us. This anti-CRT fervor threatens the First Amendment and academic freedom. Banning the teaching of this nation's fraught history with its peaks and valleys of justice and injustice violates the values that are at the heart of the Kate Stoneman memorials. To me, this award embodies intersectional inclusion, securing the benefits of law for women of all backgrounds. I challenge all of you to break your silence, to use your institutional power, especially if you are a white woman, to fight against systemic racism, for multiracial democracy, for our children and grandchildren, thereby honoring the memory and spirit of Kate Stoneman. Mil gracias, 1,000 thank yous.
I am Martha Barnett. I am proud recipient of a Kate Stoneman Award. I come from a long line of pioneering women, some of whom were literally pioneers in the state of Florida. As a young girl, I learned by their example just how challenging and how rewarding it can be when you take a path less traveled. I am a product of their legacy of determination and success. No honor that I have ever received means more to me than the Kate Stoneman Award. That is because it honors and celebrates a woman who was a true pioneer in the law and is an enduring role model for the generations to come. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leslie Stein. I'm a graduate of Albany Law School class of 1981, a retired associate judge of the New York Court of Appeals, and a proud past recipient of the Kate Stoneman Award. Kate Stoneman achieved many firsts during her lifetime. To name just a few, she was the first female president of the Alumni Association of the college she attended, the first woman to pass the New York bar exam, the first woman to be admitted to the New York bar, and the first woman to graduate from Albany Law School. In other words, she was a pioneer. She also was intelligent, courageous, passionate, determined, and tireless. She overcame many cultural, societal, and institutional obstacles in her pursuit of change and the advancement of human rights and equality. She accomplished all of this through advocacy that combined protest with working within the system, and by joining with other women and men in these endeavors. When Kate Stoneman was first denied admission to the New York bar because there was no precedent for granting admission to a woman, she used her knowledge of the legislative process and her relationships with people in positions of power to change the law in a matter of 9 days, something that is unthinkable today. I have frequently quoted Sir Isaac Newton as saying that, quote, "If I can see further, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants," end quote. Kate Stoneman was the first of many giants on whose shoulders I and countless others have stood. She is the inspiration for continuing that great and important endeavor.
I'm standing in front of a quilt made by talented artists from Central New York in honor of dedicated activists like Kate Stoneman, who work to advance the place of women in our society. Kate Stoneman and these women represent hard work and resilience in the face of injustice. When she was denied admission to the bar because of her gender, she found a path forward and allies who could help her along the way. Her legacy teaches us not only to persist against adversity, but also the importance of supporting just causes of all kinds. Her story reminds us to always bring others along with us and to be good allies to those who are fighting against injustice today.